But today's topic is Easter eggs, okay? You actually see the air tanks that made that happen. So, those are Easter eggs. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing fair to middling. It's raining. I get to check out my vision in an overcast day. I've got my Roy Orbison glasses at the ready in case the sun comes out. But today's topic is Easter eggs, okay? We're not talking from chickens that we decorate during Easter. An Easter eggs I'm referring to are what the movie industry refers to as a screw up or a find or a blooper or something like that. An Easter egg. It's usually visual. Here's an example. In the opening scene of the old Western movie Shane, if you have an old copy of it, it will be there. But since they've re-released it 50 times, they have taken it out. But when he's riding up to the cabin, right, on his horse, if you look up way off into the background at the base of that hill, you'll see a semi-truck going down, white. You'll see the trailer anyway, going by. Way in the background. You got to be paying attention, okay? So this is probably the second, maybe the third time when I watched the movie, because I've watched it probably 30 times in my life, okay? Because it's a good movie. Shane! Come back, Shane. Okay, but anyway, that's an Easter egg, okay? That truck going by in the Western days, it's not going to happen in real life. So that's an Easter egg. Another example, and I'm spoiler alert, okay, in case you haven't seen them, but you can look for them. In the movie Gladiator, with Russell Crowe, not the new one, they're in the arena, right? They're in the Coliseum. Asshats up there, yeah, and Russell Crowe is down in there and he's trying to pull the group together. You're Maximus, biggest dickus, hard asses, kickus asses, okay? They have that fight, which they're supposed to get slaughtered in real life, but they won this battle in the arena, in the Coliseum. But when one of those chariots gets flipped over, or in the movies blown over, you actually see the air tanks that made that happen, okay? But you've got millions of dollars taken up in that, just to make that one scene. They just left it. And you half a second, if you'll see it. That chariot flips over and boom, hit pause. You're going to see two big, 1 foot in diameter air tanks. Compressed air. That shoots a plunger out and tips it over. Just like when cars flip over in movies, you see it all the time in TV series because they don't have the budget that the big boys do. That the big producers have. They have an explosive device and a piece of telephone pole that's stuffed up into a piece of pipe, tied up with a little bit of rope, and boom, it blows up and it flips the car over. So you can see that in almost any old series, from Dukes of Hazzard to Rockford Files to Knight Rider and shit like that, okay? Cop shows especially. So those are what I mean when I say Easter egg. Okay? Let me turn these wipers off now, because we're about it, and they rang. So those are Easter eggs. So the Easter egg in that video I was talking about, when I was stuck in my room, that, to me, ghastly abstract painting on the wall, 3-piece painting on the wall, for 3 videos, I turned it over. I turned each one of those upside down, and they're still upside down. And when I go back to Patia, I've got that room again. It's guaranteed, unless something tragic happens. But when I get there and someone's in there, they're going to move them for me, because that's the way the cookie crumbles when Mitch is in town. Can you feel it? Okay, so those are Easter eggs. So in that we're not actually looking for an Easter egg, which in a recent video coming up, there's actually an Easter egg. Just a 3-second, when you have a still photo in a film, in a video on YouTube, the default is 5 seconds. So okay, I have 5 seconds, and I can string a bunch together, put some music to it, or talk over it, and then you know what you have. So, but I just took that 5-second clip and I cut it down to about 3 seconds. It just goes silent. I go silent, which is like rare. But I go silent for 3 seconds, and there's an Easter egg. I'm giving you a heads up. There's actually an Easter egg. Okay? But that's what an Easter egg is in a movie. A flaw. Now, IMDb, Internet Movie Database, you can create an account on there, Joe Smuckatelli or whatever. You still have to have an email address, a legit one. So you can create 50 of them on Gmail, but create an email address. I have my own, my regular email address. I don't care. And you could go to a specific movie and look at the cast and look at the budget, look at all this stuff. But then down below, you'll have bloopers, timeline issues, like you're watching a movie that was supposedly 1960, but in the background you'll see a 55 Chev Bel Air. Okay, that's an Easter egg. And you write it in and you say, hey, at such and such a minute, such and such a movie, I spotted a 55 Chevy. And then a couple days later they'll say, yep, we reviewed your thing, and boom, they put it up. And you get credit for that. So I've got thousands. I don't dare say tens of thousands, but I've got over 10,000 freaking emails from IMDb saying someone liked your Easter egg or whatever. I'll watch a movie just like anyone else, at home. Half the time I'm stuffing my face with popcorn, back in the States anyway, shoveling it in, just ghastly looking. But if I've seen it once before, the next time I'm watching it, I'm not watching the character actors, I'm watching the background. I may see a young Liam Hemsworth or whatever the hell his name was, or a Goldie Hawn or something like that. It depends on the movie. You say, holy shit, that was so... I'll rewind it, right? And go, oh my God, look at that. And then you look at the credits and go, holy crap, way down on the bottom there is so-and-so. Now, kind of the same vein, when you come up to a modern, a movie that's been reproduced and, what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out here. Syndicated, okay? It's gone into syndication. So now it's on cable, now it's on this, now it's on that. If they have a young Tom Cruise in a crap role, they'll say, oh, Tom Cruise is in this movie. So you'll watch it, even though it's a shitty role, right? I just use him as an example. I'm not saying he's a shitty actor. So I like pretty much, yeah, you know, I can differentiate between people's religion and politics and their acting. I can say, man, that guy should just keep his damn trap shut. But I can still enjoy some of their art, right? I'm not going to name anybody, but Morgan Freeman said it. Gene Simmons said it as well. He said, I'm a rock star. Why the hell do you need to know that? When someone asks him about his politics, he says, why do you care? Why do you even want to know? I'm a rock star. That's what I do. And Morgan Freeman said the same thing. Why? Why do you want to know? I'm an actor. That's my job. So let's talk about acting. So I feel strongly about that. Sure, they're popular, and sure, they're actually influential. And I don't think they should take advantage of that because they've been good in movies and they've been paid millions of dollars, that they all of a sudden have a say, even though we do have freedom of speech and it's in their rights to do so. I don't think they should abuse that. You know, but they're going to say what they want to say, and it's perfectly fine for them to say it. But I think they're making themselves look like an asshat, and this, you know, at least half of their people that like them don't like them anymore, because there's not a lot of people that will watch somebody that they can't stand who talks about politics when they go to turn on a movie, because they can't take their head out of that, out of the asshole of politics, right? But I can differentiate. Road construction. It almost feels like Seattle, man. They've been working on this a long time. So that's an Easter egg, okay? Flaws in movie. I've seen many times. Platoon, the movie Platoon, when Charlie Sheen comes up and shoots and kills Tom Berenger, right? I forget Charlie Sheen's character all of a sudden. Damn, what was his name? But anyway, Tom Berenger was Barnes, right? They're in that big firefight. Napalm comes, boom, 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 and then he's laying there all messed up. His shirt's all torn up, right? Then it cuts to to Charlie Sheen. But then when it cuts back to Berenger, it was obviously the next day, because the tears on the shirt are completely different than the tears 5 seconds ago. Look it up. That's an Easter egg. Okay? So when I say, hey, there's an Easter egg, there's something hidden. And now that first one, I'm just dinking around, right? I was dinking around because I wonder if the staff's even going to notice this ugly thing turned over. Because they don't. Because every time I'm in a hotel, if I have a little plastic, you know, a label on an apple. Oh, can't go. And I saw it too, but I didn't think he was going that fast. But anyway, you know the stickers on apples that are actually edible? Look it up. I'll put those like on the mirror. 1, 2, 3, and they'll be there the next time I go back. Or in the shower somewhere, up on a tile. I'll do shit like that. They got blinders on when they're doing their work. They just do their job and that's it. They don't say, hey, I noticed that sink's not anchored down, it spins around. I see a leak over here. They just don't do that. Where in the States, they'll say, hey, I better call maintenance, get them up here to room whatever, because they got a leak over here. They just wait till it falls apart before they tell anybody. Like I knocked over a coffee cup. Thankfully it was empty, but it shattered on the tile floor. Actually cut my foot when I got up to clean it up. but it was more of a scratch. Okay, and I had all my medical, my emergency first aid kit with me, which I do all the time now. Travel, coming up to a checkpoint here, heavy checkpoint. Put on the flashers. This guy behind me is swerving into the other lane. I would look in my rearview mirror, but the rain clouded up the rearview mirror camera. So he stopped. So anyway, we're over time anyway. So that's it for Easter eggs. All right, that's what it is. Not actually an egg. You're looking for something out of place, some kind of a flaw, something like that. All right. Thanks for watching. I'm going to say hi to the popo. Bye.